You are listening to the Joyce Ulrich Show from Toronto, Canada, Arts and Entertainment Edition.
Water flows uphill toward money. Desert lawns green as dollar bills. I just work the gardens here. I'm not paid for opinions, dear, so I leave it alone. Escalates, it's tripping in the driveway, blasting frigid air in their climate-controlled cocoon. Well, I'm here to share the shrubbery till the heat turns my thoughts rubbery, and I leave it alone. I leave it alone. I must spend the summer storm where the wild cornflowers blow, and not the smallest thing at all on my mind. I'm gonna spend the summer storm where the climbing ivy goes, up and over the garden wall. Then I'll find me in my stone summer. Inside the gate, 40 sprinklers saturate the place. All Kentucky blue where scrubland used to be. I'm just one of the many minions. I'm not paid for my opinion, so I leave it alone. I leave it alone. I'ma spend the summer stoned where the wild cornflowers blow, and not the smallest thing at all on my mind. I'm gonna spend the summer storm where the climbing ivy goes, up and over the garden wall. That I find me in my stone summer. Stone summer. Summer stone.
That's the Peace Option, and that's Stoned Summer from the album The Peace Option, which is their debut album. It's there's first there was Gorillaz, then Tame Impala, now The Peace Option, and that's the name of this solo project, as I mentioned, and it's by a well-known veteran Toronto-based producer, engineer. His name is Brian Nevin. And if you hear a little bit of Hall & Oates in there, a little bit of Steely Dan, some jazz, some indie, some rock, well, it's all there. And it's a wonderfully engineered piece of a beautiful album. Brian, I'm so happy to have you here because I enjoyed every one of those songs and I cried over a few of them. I don't know if I was supposed to, but I did.
Oh my gosh, Joyce, that's so wonderful to hear. Well, I'm sorry you cried in a way, but it's also extremely flattering. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, you're Toronto-based. You're in Toronto. You're a Toronto-based engineer, producer, musician, multi-instrumentalist. Although you've had some really great players on this album, but I see this as a Toronto City album. There were so many things I could relate to on it, and a lot of it felt like wet city pavement, a lot of open sound to it, and it was tingly. I don't know exactly how to put it, but it had that beautiful fresh sound.
Well, that's so cool. You should say that. Yeah, being in Toronto for as long as I have,
Hmm.
um, and being in recording studios for as long as I have, I mean,
Oh
Toronto
yeah,
definitely has a sound in terms of
it does.
musicianship, and even though I'm not anywhere near at the level of the players I've had the pleasure of recording all these years,
Hmm.
um, their sensibility is sort of seeped into my consciousness, and I'm sure there's no escaping the Toronto sound as far as I'm concerned.
We have some amazing musicians. I know I was in a Cuban band for 11 years, and you love bossa nova. There's a lot of bossa nova in this too, because I was doing a little cha 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 and a little bit.
Yeah.
I was moving to this music. I thought I like this, you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and yeah. It's dancey in a beautiful. I love. I'm a romantic, and this is a romantic album, but it's romantic in a way that it's almost Dickens like. Oh, I don't know if this is vibing with you at all, but it's almost like stories to bring about social change.
Yeah,
I
well,
don't
that
know.
would be
It's kind of
wonderful if it could do
well, I
if
know,
music can do that.
but if it can move people to think about things, I was thinking about a lot of things when I was listening to that. That's why I was crying. You know?
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
cool.
No, I don't know.
I have to ask which song triggered the tears.
Yeah, that's a good question. The one about the girl at the bridge, and I could think.
Yeah.
I thought about Broadview. You know, where the bridge
Hmm.
is there over the.
I don't think it was that bridge.
No, but I was thinking about that bridge, and also the man. You know, he took a long walk off a short roof. Is that how you put it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that reminded. How did it go again?
He took a rather long walk off a very short rooftop.
Yeah, and I remembered also, I was thinking about the Traveling Wilburys. You know, she wrote a long letter on a short piece of paper. It sort of reminded me of that lyric, which is
Oh,
so
nice.
clever. Have you ever heard that?
I haven't, but
You gotta.
they're great. I love them.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But that's one of that line right there reminded me of the Traveling Wilburys, and they're oh, look at those guys. Look at the writers there. So look, you're in that space, whether you know it or not, Brian.
Well, that's that old rhetoric trick. You know, if you have the word long in the line, you have to have the word short in there as well.
I suppose so, but still, it's good. But yeah, and yeah, pay to play. I guess that was the one. Was that the one?
That was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love She Lies. Boy, that's really Steely Dan. I love that one. I think that's actually your single.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that it's funny you should say that. I feel like that one sort of got away from me a little bit. That one ended up being my kitchen sink production, where
Really?
I just didn't know when to stop putting on instruments.
Well, it was
But
great. Well, of course, who am I to say? You know, I'm a singer. I don't play any instruments. So you know what they say. If you know when there's a singer at the door, she doesn't know when to come in. She doesn't have her key. I don't know. It's like it's like a thing.
that's right. I would really like to hear more about this part of your life. You
No,
said you played in a
no,
Cuban band.
it's not about me today.
Okay.
I was with a Cuban band for 11 years, from '98 to 2009. Pablo Terry and Sol de Cuba.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, yeah. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, I had to learn Spanish real fast.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've been to Cuba several times, and I love the music. I
it
mean, and
will.
there are just such great players in Cuba. Like everyone is just so killer.
Yeah, well, that was very intimidating for me to be the girl singer, Canadian. Although Pablo said nobody's doing what you're doing, like singing English and Spanish like that. But I said, oh well, you know, I guess love is blind. Anyway, we
That's
won't go
great.
there. But yeah. But it was a great thing, and it was a great education. You really learn a lot playing with these. So you put together some Cuban instruments in your, like some percussion in your was that the kitchen sink thing? What did you put
Um,
together? The instruments. You can't.
on She Lies,
Yeah.
on
Oh,
that
on
one.
any of them, like.
I just honestly, I don't think about it too much. I just try to ask myself what the song wants to be, and how best to bring out the central idea of the song. And sometimes it's a matter of connecting with older influences that I've always loved.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, on She Lies, like that drum part, that's just from Todd Rundgren. What's that song? Anyway, that's like a Todd Rundgren reference. And then as I go through, if something reminds me of something else that I love, then I'll usually go in that specific direction. Because to me, like, sounds can have like this just a way of recalling emotional frameworks. And I think if there's something out there that has resonated with me, I hope that someone has, some of the same musical references, and it somehow resonates with someone else as well.
Well, I think this will resonate with a lot of people, Brian. I really do believe that. And, you remind me of great artists use what they have, what they've learned, what they've experienced. They use the tools at hand. And a good artist, you can get stuck in a genre. And and so many, and that was the old way, you were either a blues singer, a jazz singer, a country singer, a pop singer, and you couldn't cross over. And when people crossed over, it was like, that's the death of their career? Not always, but it was weird. But it's not so weird anymore in the indie world, in the world of music that we have today. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, well, especially, because there's just so much out there right now, and there are a couple of different ways I could take this. I mean, when there are 50 or 60,000 songs being uploaded to Spotify, every day, and so many of the tracks have this synthetic quality where you can't really recognize the band per se. Like, there's no band; it's just a synthesizer playing.
Yeah, it's noise. You could just take that same synth sound and put it behind a lot of the songs, and it would work.
Yeah, it's basically just a chord and a beat that the singer is singing over.
Yeah.
And so my aesthetic is just to go in the opposite direction, and I would go there anyway. It really doesn't have anything to do with current trends, but but yeah, just to play it and have fun with it and be real. And lately I've taken the kind of approach wherein I don't even write parts so much. I just take the song from beginning to end and just kind of let the part evolve as it goes, and then sort it out later.
Oh, that's a good idea, because then you don't get stuck. I don't know, as a producer, engineer, and you've done a lot, films, commercials, record. You've done so much, and with well-known artists as well.
Mm-hmm.
You've recorded and mastered and engineered, mixed. All of that. You're behind the scenes guy, and now you've stepped out with this album, The Peace Option.
I wouldn't have done it if not for COVID.
It brought out a lot, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
It kind of healed the environment and got you out to making some music.
Yeah, it's true. I think it did that to a lot of people, where, they were stuck in the house, and it's like, what am I going to do with my life? I've always wanted to do this. And that's sort of where it all came from.
Well, why don't we play She Lies?
Oh, thank you. Cool.
Well, we're going to play a few.
Okay, cool.
They're very tasty. We'll play She Lies. This is the Peace Option debut album, and I doubt that this is the last album, and I believe this is going to be a great album for people to listen to. So here it is, She Lies.
Who's to say, who's to know where she goes in the afternoon? Save for the dusty oil painting with eyes that survey the room. She's never on the end of the phone. She's not the type for dining or dancing alone. It's just a matter of time to find the brick to burst her balloon. She lies about a lot of stuff. We might surmise it's all a bluff, except when she says I love you, unless she lies about that too. She lies about anything, which one might find a touch troubling, except when she says I love you, in which case it might possibly be true. A courtier dress, pink pumps, designer name, with no plausible provenance or circumstance from which they came. It's a cookie crumb mystery, walking the trail of a browser history. Scarlet rose to her nose and cheeks, though not from shame. She lies about a lot of stuff and hides behind her subtle makeup, except when she says I love you, unless she lies about that too. She lies about anything, which one might find a touch troubling, except when she says I love you, in which case it might possibly be true. She lies about a lot of stuff and hides behind her subtle makeup, except when she says I love you, unless she lies about that too. She lies about anything, which one might find a touch troubling, except when she says I love you, in which case it might possibly be. She lies.
Wow, she lies. And oh my goodness. Brian, you used all your engineering and mastering chops there, I'll tell you.
Yeah, like I said, it's my kitchen sink song.
But it's great. It's beautiful. That's why I think it's your single. I think I love Stone Summer, and actually I played that for everyone because we're in the midst of winter right now, sort of. I don't know what we're in the midst of. We're in the midst of something anyway. But yeah, no, it's exciting. And I want to talk to you a little bit about you. You have done a lot of engineering and mixing and producing music for film, for commercials, for all kinds of things. I want to impart upon musicians because the importance of using live musicians, because if you want to market your music for film, for one thing, once it gets to the big screen, it's got to translate well through those big Dolby speakers, whatever the heck they're using, And if you're using that mushy music, it doesn't do the same thing. They want real live musicians on most of those.
And it's amazing how a real player, just one real player takes can provide like the resonance and emotional impact that a whole cadre of like synths can't deliver.
No.
And it really, it can lift up a movie. And some of the best movie soundtracks just, have one solo instrument as the focus. And,
Oh yeah. Well, that's knowing which instrument to bring forward too to make it that focus as well.
Mhm.
You know,
yeah, absolutely.
as we were just talking about, because Complete Unknown just was released, Bob Dylan, and of course, Rolling Like a Stone. They brought forward the organ.
Right. Yeah.
So amazing! It was an unpredictable thing. He just sat in there and he played, and there you go. But that's important. So let's talk a little bit about the musicians who are on this album, because all live musicians and great backing vocals. So I've got the list here. I've got Julianne Reagan, and she's doing some background vocals on track 2. Yeah.
Do you know anything about Julianne?
No.
She was in a UK band called All About Eve, and she was really big in the 80s. It is like I think she's still considered to be a celebrity over there. She's an amazing singer, and I asked her to sing backup on this on which one was it? It was
track 2.
Likeable Guy.
I like Likeable Guy.
Yeah.
Great.
And she sent me like a dozen tracks of background vocals. I really just wanted one harmony in the chorus, and she did such amazing work, and it was very appreciated and just unexpected. The amount of commitment that she put into it was unbelievable.
Well, she must have really loved the song. I like the song. It's a likable song, that Likeable Guy song. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's in your okay. Let's keep talking about the musicians, because I can go off on a tangent.
Okay.
And then there's Andrea Cozio on track 8.
I got to say, she's amazing. She's a dear friend, and I've actually engineered like 4 of her records, and she is just like miles above me in terms of songwriting, and just an unbelievable musician. I love her. She's great.
And
Anyway.
Isaac Papineau on guitars for tracks 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 11.
He was my main musical foil on this one. So anytime you hear a guitar, that's him, unless it happens to be a ukulele, in which case that would be me. But he played on pretty much the whole record, and he did it in a day.
Oh, that's a pro.
Yeah.
That's focus.
Yeah, no, he is unbelievably sharp and quick and takes direction beautifully. But not that he needs direction. He comes up with great ideas.
Well, just on a side note, it's like corralling. I produced 5 Cuban albums. Okay. Wow. For help. Well, co-produced. Like in that I had. It's like corralling cats. It's when you have somebody show up for a studio for recording, and they've forgotten their bongos.
Oh no, that's not good.
I thought you had bongos. No, where are yours?
Now, was that here or in?
I was
Cuba?
here. No, in Toronto.
Okay.
Oh yeah. No.
I think if you forgot them in Cuba, it might be hard to.
No. I'm serious. Very wonderful musicians, but we'd be doing a gig. And we'd be on stage, and the drummer or some musician would be running down the street. We'd be at a festival or something, and then jumping in.
Yeah.
It's like that. So I really appreciate it because I had the production schedule tight.
Wow.
And it was. I love them. Great people, but my God, like corralling cats. Sorry, guys. Okay. And Steve Taub, lap steel. I love lap steel. There's a lot of people are starting to use that more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Steve's an old dear friend as well. I've known him since high school, and and that was a homemade lap steel.
Really? Oh yeah. So how's that look?
I wouldn't be able to describe it. It's like sort of like 2 figure 8s on top of each other. Like it's got that kind of double curve thing on it with a hole. It kind of looks like a dulcimer in a way.
Oh, I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds lovely though.
It does. So that's very cool. That's on tracks 3 and 8. And then Sophia Spielberg, violin.
Oh yeah, she played violin on
Okay.
a track. Yeah,
Yeah.
she does a lot of touring in Canada. She does a lot of wedding work actually, and she's a great player.
Wonderful. And Manuel Trabuco,
He
soprano
played
sax.
sax
Yeah.
on Pay to Play. That's the one sax track we have. He played wonderfully.
Well, you would have had the opportunity in studio to meet a lot of great musicians, studio musicians. So that's a plus for you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Come help me.
It's a whole culture that sadly has sort of faded over the years.
Has
It
it?
used to, yeah. Well, I just don't know if there's. Well, I know there's not as much studio work as there used to be. When I first started, if you wanted to have a commercial on radio or TV or any kind of musical recording, you would have to go into a studio. There was no other way to record music but to
No.
go into a recording studio, and so we would have studio musicians in daily, like and recording, sometimes twice a day, recording work, and you'd see the same faces over and over again, and then of course you'd get stars coming in as well.
Of course.
And
Yeah.
but
Who-
again,
yeah.
with the proliferation of digital technology, it's all become much more fragmented,
And
unfortunately.
even worse with AI. I mean, I think AI is wonderful. I think we're going to have a lot of great discoveries and everything. Like, I was told, like, things that took 10 years are going to take 6 months to develop, which is amazing.
Yeah,
But at the
I-
same time,
I think it's going to be really good in terms of medicine and science.
yeah.
Like they're creating and discovering new proteins with AI, but
yeah. And now that the
for the-
genome has been mapped, that's a marriage made in paradise,
so yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of benefits to it. But the arts, I think it's going to be somewhat devastating to
Yeah.
artists.
I'm
already
worried
taking
about
their
it.
toll.
Well, with those mushy backgrounds, and I call them mushy backgrounds because you're right, you can't discern the instruments. May I ask you, just to go back a little bit to the studio, who did you work with, like famous people? People like to know that,
Oh yeah.
Who did you work with?
well,
Who
let's
did
see. Well, I've done a couple of albums with Jimmy Webb. He's a classic songwriter.
Yeah.
And who else was it? Lorena McKennett?
Oh, wow.
I record with her, and I've done recordings with people that weren't necessarily like full albums and stuff like that. People would come in for a day, or two, and like. So I've worked with Geddy Lee and
Oh.
Alex Lifeson on another occasion, and to be honest with you, it's all kind of a blur.
It's a blur. It's a blur. Just a lot of
Yeah.
because, and it would be a blur because your eyes are down on the board, not necessarily.
Yeah, it's true.
The song, the voice is coming through, and all you're looking at is that board and trying to adjust everything as you're going. And it's like, okay, I better not mess up.
It's true. My attention is usually very narrow.
I would think so. Oh my gosh. Well, this is great. And have you worked basically in Toronto, or have you worked other places?
Yep. I've been lucky enough to travel for a few jobs, but Toronto's been my home base.
That's your home base. Really should introduce you to Chris Burkett, my producer. He's amazing. He produced Sinead O'Connor's "Nothing Compares to You" and a few of her albums.
No way.
Yes, and the Pogues, Copperhead Road. You know that the bagpipes at the beginning of Copperhead Road.
Yeah.
That was him. He
wow.
put that in there, and
So cool.
and that boom, that was his drum stuff, and and Mel Brooks, the Hitler rap,
wow.
from the producers, and Lots of lots of people like that, and like I said, I mentioned the Pogues, and lots of.
Was he in the UK?
He was in he was in the UK, and and then he moved to France because it was a better place to raise his kids than in London. You know, and so they bought a chateau there, but they were able to buy a chateau because of Nothing Compares to You. So they bought a 40-some room chateau in Bordeaux or something. But now he's here in Toronto. He's here in Toronto. You got to meet him. You guys got to hook up.
I'd love to.
Oh my gosh.
It's funny. I was just reflecting on the Pogues over Christmas and A Fairy Tale of New York. It's such a fabulous song, and you know, it's definitely become now, you know, so much in the canon, right?
Well,
Christmas songs.
Well, both of you guys stepped out of your producer roles into the songwriting. He was with Omaha Sheriff years and years and years ago, but then he built Tony Visconti's studio and ended up being engineer there.
Oh,
You guys got to connect. So we got to play another song. Song. So what would you say? I'm going to ask you to pick. I love them all. There's some I love even more than others but I love them all, you know.
well, do we want to slow it down or
whatever you want. It doesn't matter. They're all great.
Okay. I suppose Pay to Play.
I like that one. Yes, we did. And I've got that on my little list here. So here I am. Where's Pay to Play? Oh, down here. Okay, you got 11 songs on this album. That's a chunky album. that's a master number. 11. That's lucky.
It's only 44 minutes long.
Yeah, but you know, I appreciate that you appreciate that nothing should be over 4 minutes. No, right?
I agree.
Right?
I agree with that, yeah.
No, it's
sure.
it's true. I mean, I'm glad that Hey Jude was 6 minutes and something, and you know, other songs like we just talked about 6 minutes and 13 seconds. Very nice, but the world cannot handle that anymore.
No, songs are getting shorter and shorter.
Well, even they're taking clips out of songs and playing them. This is disgusting. But anyway, Here we go. This is Pay to Play from the Peace Option, and that is the Peace Option. There we are, Pay to Play. And get your tissues out.
A fallen leaf caught on the wind. Where she goes and where she's been seem never of her choosing. Unpredictable but amusing, until a heartbeat not her own forced her to face up the world alone. On the stormy bridge that night, she gripped her bundle tight, horrified by what she might do. You pay to play, the wheel spins your fortune away. Hard luck's in the DNA, the future unstable. You pay to play and pretend it's all okay. You can always find another way to bring food to the table. Unsteady mind and a shaky plan, she hung her hopes on a hat rack of a man. He could never be her savior. Thought the callous misbehavior, they were better off without the likes of him. You pay to play, the wheel spins your fortune away. Hard luck's in the DNA, the future unstable. You pay to play and pretend it's all okay. Can always find another way to bring food to the table. To bring food to the table. You pay to play. The wheel spins good fortune away. Hard luck's in the DNA. And a future unstable. You pay to play and pretend it's all okay. But always find another way to bring food to the table. To bring food to the table.
And that's Pay to Play, the Peace Option from the album of the same name, The Peace Option, and Brian Nevin, who sells himself so short. What a beautiful voice. No, I was listening to your voice earlier, listening to the whole album, and I thought, who does he sound like to me? And I had to go back and listen to some other piece of music by a friend of mine, and also, do you know Roger Ellis, who used to be with Edward Bear?
Oh, yeah. Well, Edward Bear, I remember.
This would be after Danny Marks. He took over from Danny Marks as the lead guitarist, and he's from England, and so he's got an English accent. So that sort of threw me because you don't. So, oh, you speak English, but you're not English. So, but the thing is, there's because you have this. You got a beautiful vibrato, a very warm sound, and a bit of a gravel in your voice. Little bit, just enough to, it's just so warm and so sincere. And it's real. Like people will listen to the lyrics, and the lyrics are beautiful. The stories are beautiful. So I don't know. You'll have to listen to Edgeware Station. That's what I was listening to. Do you know that song? Yeah, Edgeware Station. Da 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 dee, da 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 dee. Whatever.
Edward Bear?
Yeah, Edward Bear. Yeah.
I think I have heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to listen, but of course, the English accent sort of he's got a very light one, but still. Anyway, but I thought there was something there like that, and of course, he's got a very warm voice, and I really love that. But where was I going with this?
Well, you're very kind, and I really appreciate all you've said. I'm still at that stage where I'm just not super comfortable singing. But
well, have you sung before? You must have at some point.
Well,
you're so natural
as a child, and then I don't know why I just sort of I of course I have to sing to write music, and so it honestly with this record I thought it would just be the most expedient thing if I were to do it, and I had the benefit of time,
Yeah, well, COVID. I wrote 2 songs myself during COVID, I get it. Yeah, a lot of artists were very productive.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it is, when you don't sound like this, but MacArthur Park,
Right.
You don't have to be the greatest singer in the world to sell a song.
Well, I'm totally banking on that.
There you go. No, but you have a beautiful voice, and that's the thing. Because it's real, it's warm, it's sincere, and it's on key. You're not sharp, you're not flat. You're not, everything is fine. you've got it, and you don't sound auto-tuned.
You're right. Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's funny. I get a lot of comparisons to Randy Newman.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think my tonality and his are just like they're like chalk and cheese. They're not even close to each other.
Well, there might be something that people are feeling though,
I think it's the phrasing or something.
the phrasing. Your phrasing is excellent. You tell the story. And this is. I'm going to tell you a little story about Barbara Streisand.
Oh, cool.
Not that I ever met her. I did in a dream. Okay, I did. I had a dream one night. Brian, this is a dream. Okay, first I had the dream. Okay, and I was having trouble. I in my dream, Barbara Streisand and I were having a conversation about. And I told her, I can't sing anymore. I can't sing like you, Barbara. Why do I even bother singing? And she said to me in my dream. She said, you don't have to sing like me. You have to sing like you.
Yeah.
And that's what she told me. And then it's really interesting. Maybe she really was there in my dream. I kind of believe in that. So then in an interview, someone asked her, so what's the Barbara Streisand technique? And she said, what technique? What technique? I have a technique. They said, well, the way you sing. She said, I sing the words. I feel the words when I sing them. That's what I do.
Wow.
So that's what you do, okay? And that's great.
Well, thank you.
I hope
wish
that
had
inspired you.
Her strength of sound, like that whole resonance from.
But you don't need that with what you're singing. You're singing stuff that's so heart-wrenching in some ways. Like even She Lies. I feel. Was this a real story? I don't know. Where do you get your ideas from for your songs? They sound personal, but I know you're. I don't ask you any embarrassing questions or anything. But where do you get your songs from?
A lot of it's random. I mean, where do people get ideas from? I mean, is there such thing as
I don't know. An experience?
I don't. No, but usually what happens is I'll something will just pop into my head, and if it's a phrase that sounds musical, if it appears in my brain like a sung thing or a catchy phrase, then I'll ask myself, is it suitable for a song? And if it were a song, what kind of a song would it be? And,
okay.
Explore it in those ways. And usually what happens is if I stumble on something that has enough meat to it, that can go in a direction.
Like a story line?
Yeah, if I can envision a story around the phrase, then I'll go for it. And then, but also, I do that thing that most musicians do, songwriters do, is they'll just be banging on the piano or something, and then try to sing over what they're playing, and whatever and I just try to write down whatever pops out. And usually, whatever pops out sometimes has a resonance that works with what's happening on the piano, and that's something that is very powerful. Like if you just happen to hit the right vowel sound, the right tonality, and so on, and then that works with the key of what you're in. Then it's something to work off of. It's something to jump off of.
So you're a random songwriter.
Yeah,
but that's okay. That's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like I noticed, I read something where you said that a song could come in like 20 minutes or 3 weeks or months or whatever. It depends on. Yeah. And that's very typical too.
You wouldn't believe it. Stone Summer actually took me a year to write that, and it's because I had a whole concept for it that it just would not yield itself to me. Like what the song was about was just not easy to put into a musical context, and whatever I did just would not work. Until finally, I just changed horses. I got a different idea, and then it almost wrote itself as soon as I changed the central idea.
It's almost like your political song, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, in a way.
In a way, Yeah.
And I'm actually quite happy that I managed to put forth that concept, because it's not a, like, I like political songs, but I don't like songs that
In your
wag their
face.
finger at you. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
in
don't
your
like
face kind of thing.
moralizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I try to walk that line where I just say, here's this, but what do you think of this?
Yeah, I'm just turning the soil out here in the garden. I'm just I love gardening. Are you kidding me? I think that's that. And what was the song that had it was the one with the cornflowers, right? And everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Well, and there is clover in Toronto. I'm the garden committee chairperson at my building, and
Oh.
there is clover and there are dandelions on the lawn. And I tried to tell them, no mow May. Don't touch them. The pollinators need this. And
Yeah.
the clover's been growing great. And I'm at the corner of like Eglinton and Winona, Now everyone knows where I live. Oh, well, who cares? But the thing is that, it's it's important. And in this busy, busy, busy city, to have a lawn that's got clover and dandelions on it, good.
Oh yeah.
And bee and butterfly gardens. We got to do that more. And
We have lots of flying insects around our place, and
it's one.
great.
That's great. Yeah, it's important. When we don't have them, we'll die. We will
For sure.
die. Die. Die, diddly, die. That's like. Have you ever heard that song? Listen to me while I tell you about the Spaniard who blighted my life. And he sings, he will die, he will die, he will die, diddly I die. Sorry. I get these crazy ideas. I tell you, I do go off on tangents. So we need to sing, we need to play another song. You sing, sure. I play. Okay. And you're playing as well. So I don't know, the many ways that was an interesting one for me. Green World was, I'm not going to play the last one, but I like the last one because I go to the CNE every year. I go by myself,
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to play one time around?
Well, no, I'm not. No, I wasn't going to because I like it. I like it a lot. I was going to play something else, but I was just going to say that people get this album. Number 11 is One Time Around. And I love that one because I go there and I walk through the midway and I look at all the rides. I have my 2 corn dogs, one at the beginning. I can't have just one. They don't taste as good as they used to, but they're still good. And, my root beer, and I walk around, then I have a beer outside the casino, and then I go hear some music, and I just walk around and have a candy apple, don't break my teeth. And, I just wander through all the buildings, everything, and I make a day of it. And it's like when I love this because it brought back the whole CNE for me. That's why I say it's a Toronto album.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When you talk about that was the one. The one, is it the Many Ways that has the coyote in the
No, that's Green World.
Oh, that's the Green World. Maybe we should play Green World. I kind of like that one a lot too. I like them all. They're so good.
It's your choice. You're the host.
You're so nice. You're the host. You choose. I don't know what to do here. Jeez, she might just cut me off or something. Oh no, I won't beat you with a big stick. Well, let's play Green World because I like that one. And did you know that possums only live 3 years?
I did not know that.
Yeah, you mentioned a possum in there too.
I've only just started learning about possums when I saw one a few years ago, and I actually saw one run across our front steps last summer.
Well, I only found out this morning when I was scrolling, and then I hear possum in this. I thought I have to share this with Brian, my new knowledge about possums.
Actually, it's
3
funny.
little years.
There's a really large number of flora and fauna in this song.
That's what I like. You seem to like nature a lot.
Yeah, of course I do. I love it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Some people don't. And we're living in Toronto, but that's one thing. We have a lot of green areas.
Yeah.
And during COVID, of course, we had a lot of coyotes and foxes. You mentioned fox coming into the area. In our area, we had a black fox and a red fox trotting right down Eglinton.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and coyotes and well, these two foxes had mange. They had to be caught and healed, but everything was okay. But yeah, let's play Green World. Why not? They're all great songs, and then we'll go out with another song after. So that will be your choice, okay? So you think about that. We'll talk a little bit after this one, and then have a song at the end, okay? So here we go. This
Excellent.
is Green World, the Peace Option. This is Brian Nevin, who has a great album. Here it is.
Hyacinth covers the koi pond. Ragweed blankets the burnt lawn. It's a new day. The sky, unapologetic gray, delays the dawn. Coyote in a strip mall parking lot. Pause at refuse someone dropped. As the city wakes, he makes a fast break, gone like a shot. Possums and the like scavenge through the night, dining out on roadkill, cleared off by morning light. It's a mean world, no longer a green world. Gone is the clover, and there's no do-over. It's a mean world, say bye to the green world. Slipping into the sea, losing the earth beneath our feet. Kit Fox alone in a tight spot, seeking refuge in a woodlot. With the thicket thin and no place to hide in, she'll soon be caught. Hear the bugle call, it calls for us all, ready or not. The ocean side, we part the crimson tide. Jellyfish survive the slow hypoxic dive. It's a mean world, no longer a green world. Gone is the clover, and there's no do-over. It's a mean world, say bye to the green world, slipping into the sea, losing the earth beneath our feet. Where the water meets the end of the land, we write our names in the shifting sand. Beneath the X-ray sun, what's done is done. Where the water meets the end of the land, we write our names in the shifting sand. Beneath the X-ray sun. And it's a mean world, no longer a green world. Gone is the clover, and there's no do-over. it's the end of the land. We write our names in the shifting sand, slipping into the sea, losing the earth.
Green World, The Peace Option, Brian Nevin, and that's a beautiful song.
Oh, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
A lot of beautiful songs on this album.
They're not all beautiful, Joyce.
Some of them are darn right gloomy, and and there's one, the many ways. Oh my gosh, I could really, I don't know. I thought, is this a personal story? I don't know, or is it just something that's in the industry?
Kind of, sort of. It sort of started as an inside joke.
Okay.
With me and some friends, but I was thinking about NFTs and all the different ways that people try to market themselves these days. And
It's so hard.
Taylor
You have
Swift.
you have to wear every hat.
Yeah, exactly. And then people going out and re-recording their records to get out of bad record deals and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so the idea behind that one is that somebody who knows a little too much and ends up shooting himself in the foot as a result of it. That was sort of the concept behind it.
So you kind of you've kind of seen this happen.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Over. So how
Hopefully
do
not
they
to
shoot?
myself,
How
but-
do they shoot themselves in the foot? Like what did they do?
Well, in this song, it's a person who is too afraid to commit to his career, like too afraid to commit to any kind of record deal because he thinks it's just going to be so bad for him.
Right.
But yeah, no, I've seen it in many ways. In real life, people fighting over stuff that ultimately doesn't matter. Like percentages of co-writes and so on. It's
Oh my goodness! Especially when you have 15, 20 people on a co-write.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Unreal.
So yeah.
On the
but-
mushy backed back. Yeah. I could never understand that.
Yeah, that song's meant to be a joke, and also it's got cowbell. So
It does, doesn't it? And I think it even has the swear word in it.
maybe.
But that's okay, because I'm not CRTC anymore. I used to be on AM, but I'm not there anymore. So I can put the odd swear word on air. I have autonomy, so I can do
Good.
it the hell I want. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, so your choice. What do you want to hear?
I think the many ways would be great if you want to play that one. That's wonderful. But if
What was the one you were thinking of before I mentioned the many ways?
likable guy,
I
thinking
think
go out
that's
on
the
a-
one. I
Okay.
think that's the one because I like likable guy. Where the heck is it here? I'm just looking at my. I got to go up one. There it is. Because it's number 2. Okay, because it's a long, nice album and a nice length, really easy listening length, and lots of good stories and lots of great things. So I'm going to play this out, but don't go away. We'll say our goodbyes there after I hit record, like after we stop recording. But definitely, this is Likeable Guy from the Peace Option, and of course, Brian Nevin, a likable guy and a great songwriter and a musician and producer, engineer, mixer, and all around guy. There you go, likable.
Thanks, Joyce.
You're welcome. Well, we'll have to have your second album. Start releasing singles.
Okay, I'll do that.
Sure, I'll do that.
I was planning to do that. So
No, but after this initial album, seriously,
yeah, I was seriously.
because you know what, singles work really well. That's what people are doing now, releasing singles.
Yeah, and then when you release enough of them, it is an album.
It is, and you can release it as an album after.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there you go. Okay, now we got to tell people where to get your album, Brian. So, of course, they can get The Peace Option by the band, The Peace Option of the same name at Bandcamp. And you can pick up the digital album right there for $9. And that's Canadian, $9 Canadian, 11 songs, great music. You heard some of it here tonight. You're going to hear a great piece as we go out with Likeable Guy. So go to Bandcamp to get The Peace Option. You're going to love it. It's a fabulous album. Everyone's got to have this. Okay, so buy The Peace Option at Bandcamp. So let's go here and let's listen to Likeable Guy.
Glenn Fiddick did all the talking in the decade that came before. Now 10 years sober, he's staying over, still a loud mouth whore. I guess a drink weren't the problem. The malfunction runs wide and deep, recounting every detail from his marriage fail when I just wanna sleep. Will he ever come around? Will he ever turn it around? He needs some couch time with the man in the white gown. Not the most likable guy. He claims to try. He don't try, he don't try, he don't try. Not the most likable guy. He thinks he's fine, he's not. He's clearly out of his mind. Not the most likable guy. A social suicide is a God-given right, but it's all good, man, if it lets you sleep at night. In the guise of self-improvement, got a subtle little facial talk, modified his weak chin with collagen and fat from his buttock. He made a fortune through grand evictions, kicked his low rent tenants to the curb, and with the greasy cash flow got a Lambo he richly deserves. Will he ever come around? Will he ever turn it around? Driving four-wheel vans to downtown. Not the most lovable guy. He claims to try. He don't try, he don't try, he don't try. Not the most lovable man. He thinks he's fine, he's not. He's clearly out of his mind. Not the most likable guy. A social suicide is a God-given right, but it's all good, man, if it lets you sleep at night. Who am I to judge him? It's not like I've never been down. Hell, there's other people, but we really need them around.
You are listening to the Joyce Ulrich Show from Toronto, Canada, Arts and Entertainment Edition.